Welcome to the Great Reboot. I'm Tori Ryden. Nothing says summer to so many kids around this country, really around the world, than these two words, summer camp. And now the million dollar question is whether summer camps will be able to open up. And if they do open up in 2020, the summer of 2020, what that is all going to look like and how many kids will actually be allowed to go to summer camp. And again, how it's all going to play out. Our guest on the Great Reboot understands what all of this is looking like. He is mired in day-to-day decisions and trying to figure out if he can keep his camps open for business this summer. Jeff Konigsberg is the owner and director of Camp Takajo in Naples, Maine, and also of Tripp Camp, which is on Tripp Lake in Poland, Maine. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on board with us here on the Great Reboot.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I know you are so busy right now, really fielding a lot of questions. I mean, you're trying to make some really smart, wise decisions right now, but I'm sure you're getting swamped with phone calls from parents and a lot of people just wondering what is going on. So if you could take us up to speed, Takajo is on the banks of beautiful Long Lake in Naples. I love where that's situated. You have two beautiful camps that you run, which normally are just teeming with kids every summer, and this has got to be tough.
I've owned Camp Takajo for 31 years and Tripp Lake Camp for 21 years. Just by way of history, I started at Camp Takajo in 1970 as a 9-year-old camper. My dad went to the camp the very first summer in 1947 when Takajo was founded. And so next to my family, my wife and children, it's my greatest love. This has probably been the most challenging, most difficult week of my professional career because I have been on Zoom calls for the last 2 or 3 months with my friends, with my colleagues that own camps in our region, in the state of Maine. And we all started together on these Zoom calls, hopeful and optimistic. And over the weeks and into the coming months, we have splintered. There is no right or wrong answer here. There is no crystal ball. But many camps have already decided within the last couple of days to not open their camps. And like Takajo and Tripp Lake, they are just rich in tradition, in their communities. Not just the communities in which we serve, but just second and third generation families that have attended these camps along with Takajo and Tripp Lake. So it's been a very challenging time.
Well, there are so many rules and regulations that you're going to have to follow. I guess I'm wondering, how does one even broach that? What are you doing to kind of meet all of the rules that you're going to have to follow? I guess I wonder that, summer camp, it's overnight, kids sleep in the same bunkhouse. How does that all work?
Well, there are a lot of hurdles. First of all, the state of Maine is a significant hurdle, and whether Governor Mills ends up letting camps operate. And the whole tourism industry is in great flux in the state of Maine. And keep in mind, I consider Maine my home. I've spent my last 50 years in Maine. But the entire industry the entire state relies on the summer business. And so my heart breaks not only for the camp industry, but all of our partners, the supplemental partners, the restaurants and the local shops and the local towns and the hotels and motels that rely on the summer camp industry to be robust. And this year we're not going to be robust. Governor Mills, has now said that we've gotten the green light to open summer camps as of July 1st for the residential end of the summer camp market. Day camps could open up earlier. Day camps in the state, serving the state, the population could open up in June. And we are taking very cautious, measured steps to open. For example, we plan on quarantining our staff when they arrive for 14 days and doing testing prior to our staff arriving in camp, and then doing testing once the staff is in camp once they arrive. We're going to quarantine the staff. We're then going to have our campers arrive hopefully on July 11th. We've condensed our season from 7 weeks. We were going to open on June 27th. We've shortened our season to now start on July 11th to have a 4-week season rather than a 7-week season.
Wow.
We would end on August 8th. Our hope is that we will be able to give our children an opportunity to come out of their homes, to be able to be children again, and to do this in a safe, quarantined environment. We're going to have 8 or 10 registered nurses on each property. We're going to have 2 doctors on each property. We're creating satellite medical facilities at each facility so that if a child wasn't feeling well and went to our health center, they would be immediately sent over to our satellite facility on property. So we're looking to do everything we can contained on property this summer.
You're in setting this up the way you're setting it up, you are going to lose money, obviously, this summer.
Sure.
But it's worth that risk to you to help. I mean, it sounds to me like you really want to make sure these kids have a place to go where they can have kind of a sense of normalcy.
I was told when I was a young boy thinking about careers that, try to have your vocation be your avocation. Try to pick something that you're going to do that you're going to love and feel passionate about. And what could be more passionate than working with children, working with today's youth and hopefully today's leaders. And, what we do at Camp Takajo and Tripp Lake more than recreation is teach life skills. Teaching children self-reliance and independence and teamwork and cooperation and sportsmanship and the skills that they're going to need, throughout their entire life. And what better place than a summer camp than to teach children how to look someone in the eye and to communicate and give your thumbs a rest. And our children have been on lockdown. They've been in homes. And as bad as this pandemic has been for adults, for all of us, it's even worse when we see our children suffering. And so that's my motivation right now. And while my friends and colleagues have made wise choices in not opening this summer, which I respect, I'm still taking a measured path forward because I don't see my role as a co-parent with our families as just a role during the good days. I want these children to be with us, through better days and worse days, and because that's our role. We want to take these children, if we can create a safe environment, certainly mirror the environment that they have at home, which is no panacea, no guarantees. A child that's at home not well is going to have a doctor who's going to look at them, whether it's in person or through telemedicine. A child at Takajo or Tripp Lake is not well, we're going to have doctors and nurses on property. If a child becomes more ill days into the virus or whatever their symptoms are, a doctor would be, a child at home would be taken off property to a hospital. There are wonderful hospitals in our area in Portland and Bridgeton. And so we have those resources. And so we're going to do what any parent would do in caring for a child.
So let's say that the governor gives the green light and you are moving ahead. What are the numbers looking like for you as far as what you would in a normal summer? How many kids would you have at each of your camps at Tripp and Takajo? And then what are you looking as far as scaling? Do you have any idea right now of what that
So
would
we
look
normally
like?
have 400 boys that attend Takajo for 7 weeks and roughly 300 girls that attend Tripp Lake for the 7 weeks. We have been communicating with our families basically on a weekly basis, giving them updates. And, our families seem to be cheering for us and on board for us to be able to do this. They're cautious, but they're hopefully optimistic. We are going to be sending out an email tomorrow to our families, really taking a head count. We haven't done that yet because this has been changing so quickly, so rapidly. We just didn't feel that we could get the true data that we needed earlier than now. So this is the week, tomorrow, in fact, that we're going to ask families for that information and just get a head count. Ultimately, we're not here to convince anybody to send their children to our camps. The parents are our partners and the ultimate decision maker. It is completely their choice. And they know that if they decide not to send their child to camp, we love them just the same. And we will either send them a full refund or give them the option to just roll some of that tuition over to the following year. Their call.
From what you're hearing so far, Jeff, does it seem like parents are on board with how you're doing this? I mean, you are being extremely careful and safe, and I have to, bravo to all the steps you've taken and put into place. I mean, that's really admirable.
Again, I don't have real accurate data. I think if you are asking me to guess, I'm guessing we probably have maybe as high as 70% of our families that would come to camp under this 4-week new protocol scenario. That's just my guesstimate. It could be 55 or 60%. It could be 75 or 80%. I think I'm close to 70 right now.
As far as the kids, when they get there, will they have to have been in quarantine for 2 weeks prior as well? How do you manage that part of it?
Well, again, recognizing that my parents are the ultimate partner in this, we're going to be asking them to quarantine at home before they send their child to camp. We are aggressively looking at all kinds of testing. Testing is a little confusing right now. A lot of tests were given the FDA fast track. Some are less reliable than others. Again, because we're in the middle of May, we think we have the opportunity to continue to evaluate testing to hopefully have the best gold standard test once we're in the middle of early July, to be able to ask our parents to take one of those tests with their child, and that would be their so-called golden ticket to be able to come to camp. Those are the steps we're looking to take in preparation to open.
You had mentioned to me that Tripp Lake would have been celebrating, or may still celebrate, 112 years. Is that right? This summer?
Anniversary.
Congratulations. That's huge. Summer camp really instills traditions in a lot of kids. How about you? What was your takeaway from being a camper? What were the most important things that you learned? And I mean, what is it about summer camp and that is so important for kids?
Well, it shaped me. I mean, I don't know many adults that spent their formative years in camp that don't feel that it in many ways sort of shaped them and gave them the foundation, the perseverance, the self-reliance, to be the person that they are as an adult. Camps are value-oriented community. It's a place where we level the playing field and we're all in it together. And where you come from, your socioeconomic background doesn't matter. All children need love and attention and supervision and guidance and role models. And that's what all of these camps in the state of Maine are offering children. And that's why this is so devastating, because at a time where children are suffering so much and are stuck in their homes and just need to get out, and you hear about depression and stress, children just need this opportunity, and unfortunately, many of them are not going to get it.
Yeah, that's the hard fact of it all right there. And if these camps can't swing it, I guess it's just going to mean fewer kids coming into Maine. As far as the bunkhouses, have you had to do some strategy as far as keeping the kids the 6 feet apart, or are your bunks already that far apart?
Well, head to toe sleeping is 6 feet apart in theory. Most camps, a lot of children want to sleep head to head, and you snuggle and you tell stories at nighttime. And, that's a really fun part of camp. It's the ultimate sleepover. But this year we will certainly look to, spread out a little bit more in the bunks, maybe create other provisions in bunks to create more barriers or safety measures, and sleep head to toe. If you had asked me a month ago how I would have felt about wearing masks in camp, so many of the top specialists, epidemiologists, and infectious disease doctors will tell you if you are constantly washing your hands, just nonstop throughout your day, and you are wearing a mask covering, and then you are trying to be socially distanced as much as possible. Those are three really important steps to remaining healthy. And so we understand camp is the place where people hug and come together. I think these children are coming in this summer recognizing what social distancing is and how important it is for them for their hygiene. We're not going to have to educate them. They're coming in understanding that. And so those are going to be some of the differences. And so to the families that say, I can't send my child to camp because it's not going to be the same, the cheering, the hugging, the touch, I agree it might not be exactly the same, but I do believe it beats the alternative of staying home and being isolated and being remote. So bunk living, we're going to see what that looks like. Again, I don't know what my enrollment is today. A lack of enrollment might take care of the fact that I'm going to have more social distancing than I anticipated. That will be okay. Wearing masks sometimes, we're in close quarters. That will be okay. When I'm outside in public and I see people without a mask now, I have a reaction to it. A month ago, I had a reaction putting on a mask. I felt like silly doing it. I don't feel silly doing it anymore.
Well, I know you've got a lot on your plate. I would love for you to share your websites where people can learn a little bit more, and I'm sure you're going to keep those up to date so people know exactly what's going on.
We are updating every email that we send to families. We post on our website, and parents and other people that have second, third generation alumni from camp, ex-counselors, people that are just invested in our communities are very appreciative of those updates. Tripp Lake is TRIPP lakecamp.com, and Takajo is a made-up Indian name. Morty Goldman, who founded the camp in 1947, wanted his own original tribe, so he came up with this name, and it's called Takajo, which is TAKAJO, like Takajo.com. And look, if we're not around this year, which we really are hopefully cautiously optimistic that we will be around next year. We're not going anywhere long term, that's for sure.
Well, I sure hope that you are able to pull off a 4-week camp this summer, because it seems like there are a lot of little girls, a lot of little boys who need it. And Jeff, I just want to wish you all the best and hang in there. I know it's dizzying. You're going to get through this, but thanks for sharing. It's a big shift you're doing. So good luck with all of it, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, take care, Jeff.